Hey guys, Mr. B XRP, and welcome back. Today is March 9th of 2020, and I'd like to first start by thanking everyone who has subscribed. We did hit 10,000 subscribers over the weekend, and I cannot thank you guys enough. And for those who haven't subscribed, I have prepaid for everyone on YouTube to subscribe, so there's no cost. Hit the subscribe button now. It won't cost you a dime, and you're welcome to hit the like button too if you like the video. So thank you all for being here. Okay, let's carry on. It has been a very weird and wild day, at least for me, but I think for most of the planet. And let's kind of get into it here. We'll talk about it. So first of all, I'm on CoinMarketCap. The overall market cap on the crypto market's about 221 billion. Obviously, it's been very, very messy over the last few days. Bitcoin's at 77.62. Ethereum's at 195, and XRP is just at 20 cents, which reminds me Mr. B XRP got a warning when he left the house this morning from Mrs. B XRP to not buy any XRP today. So if she's listening, I'm certainly not buying, and if she's not listening, I guess what she doesn't know doesn't hurt her. So we'll move on. Fiat leaks right at 20 cents. It looks like it wants to dip below. It just might happen. So I'll be interested to see what happens. But for those who are still accumulating, it could be a good opportunity. This was from CNBC, and it said over 26 billion wiped off the cryptocurrency market in 24 hours after massive oil price plunge. Well, that's a great headline, but that's nothing in comparison to the Dow being down 2,067 points right now. It is a mess. The stock market is an absolute mess, and everyone already knows it. I'm sure you guys have been watching it all day. We hit our first circuit breaker trigger like within minutes of the market opening up. So it was, we've been expecting a massive correction for a long time, but it's still shocking when it happens. So it will be interesting to see how the day turns out, but it is not going to be good, that's for sure. So moving on, Cryptopolis had posted this, and he's been talking about this for a while now, guys. He said 1929-1932 stock market playbook update. Dow futures down again at this hour after yesterday's nearly 1,000-point decline. Looks like we're going to have another rough day. So he posted this on March 6th, and the reason why I'm telling you about it today is he's been calling for this for a while, and he's watching this, the chart from 1929 to 1932, and I went back and looked at the chart this morning, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it was an 80% drop in the market. It was frightening, and I had talked to Cryptopolis this morning, and he said there really hasn't been a bear market since then, and I said, well, why wasn't the 2008 market considered a bear market? And he said because it didn't last long enough. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize it wasn't considered a bear market after it hemorrhaged. I think it was like 13,000 to about 6,000. But he said it wasn't considered a bear market. So I thought that was interesting. I'd share it with you. This was from Ian Northing, and I'll let you listen to this video. Hang on.
Brad, this is an honest question. Brad, this is an honest question. Ripple is, one of your products is to distribute liquidity through the payments system. So the question is, could there be a run on Ripple? In other words, everybody wants your liquidity. Nobody wants to provide it because there is a scenario where people develop doubts for good reasons or bad about the system.
So I don't have the date on that, but it's interesting. Everyone talks about XRP and how it can help liquidity. And Ian Northing posted this today too, and it looks like Mike XRP had posted it first. And it said, top news, investors dodging market meltdown say they can't find liquidity. So liquidity is the big issue there. And for those who don't have a full understanding, I'm going to play a 1-minute video, so hang in there with me, everyone, on the explanation of liquidity and why it's so important. Just watch this short video, 1 minute.
An asset's liquidity represents the ease with which that asset can be converted from an investment to cash. Liquid assets are those which are easy to convert to cash quickly and experience little to no change in asset value when converted. Illiquid assets are harder to convert and may have a substantial reduction in value once converted. Cash is the most liquid asset there is, whereas real estate is an example of an illiquid asset because not only can it be difficult to quickly sell a home or other property, there may also be a significant difference between the paper value of the property and the amount it can be sold for. When making an investment, investors will often weigh the anticipated liquidity of an asset along with its potential for gains before making the investment. Liquidity is important to investors for many reasons, including liquid assets give them accessible means to reinvest in other assets when prices are low. Liquid assets reduce some investing risks by ensuring that an investor will be able to quickly react to market moves and lock in and realize investment gains. Liquidity is also important to investors as a means to support their lifestyle needs. A retired individual might like liquid assets because he or she needs to be able to draw an income from their investment portfolio now, not later. A young family with children might like liquid assets because they provide them the freedom to convert assets into cash as needed.
So it's a nice little thing to see to get that quick explanation. And for example, last week I sold some stocks and I intended to invest the money back in XRP, and it took 3 days for me to get funded. I mean, that's just unacceptable in today's world. And one of the hopes is that using XRP, the solo people at Sologenic are trying to make it where you can go in and out from stocks to crypto to fiat. So there are better ways to do it, and then we've been doing it forever. And a lot of people are looking at XRP and Ripple to help solve those solutions of liquidity that are in the market. So it will be interesting. Listen, if XRP is ever going to be a solution to liquidity, I can't think of a better time than right now. So it would be interesting to see if that potential solution is actually ever going to happen. And because right now is a great time. So this was interesting. This was posted by Peter Voss, and then the headline is "Filthy Dollars: Fed Quarantines Currency Repatriated from Asia." So look at how they're calling money filthy, right? And South Korea was burning money last week. There was a story about that, and China has been burning money. So a lot of this concern about money and the safety of money. It's certainly making it a more palatable conversation to have with the public about digital assets, and I think the timing might be right for some countries to make their move and convert to digital assets. It's just the timing's there, and if they decide they want to do it, they can do it. Hey, and one of the things I wanted to mention too, a couple other things that I learned today that I thought were interesting. So everyone knows that the rates are incredibly low, right? So interest rates are low. You're hearing it on TV, interest rates are low. Here's the problem though. It's really hard to get a low rate right now on a refi or a new home purchase. And the reason is that all the mortgage companies are so busy and all the lenders are so buried that the lenders have had to jack up their rates to slow down applications. And I know this is going to make a lot of people mad, and it's making a lot of buyers mad right now that they can't get the rates that other people got last week. There are people last week that got 3.5% mortgages, and now they're being quoted 4.7% mortgages because the banks don't really want them to apply for the mortgage because they're too busy. I know this sounds crazy. It sounds like they're running a sales prevention department, but unfortunately that's been the response, and it's not just one particular lender that's doing it. A lot of them are doing it. So right now, in order to get an inexpensive refi, you almost have to get your timing right. And your best thing you can do is get a good quality mortgage broker and tell them, get my timing right. I mean, I'm good over the next few weeks. Just find the time to where they maybe have a lull in applications and you can get a lower rate. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it's the truth of what's going on. You won't hear it on the news. It's the reality of life. The other thing is, I'm hearing, and this is just kind of stuff to share with you guys. I'm hearing about people getting laid off because of supply chain issues coming out of Asia, and companies having to lay off people. And I'm hearing about companies that were hiring people last week that are not only not hiring those people this week, but are actually laying off people this week because they just can't get their supplies to do the work that they need to do to stay in business. It's really, really crazy out there. The other thing is a lot of companies, and I'm talking to business owners around me, and I'm sure that you've all heard of big companies that are sending their employees home to work right now for safety reasons. But there are, companies in your town that are probably getting prepared to do this. And one of the things that we need to think about is when these companies start sending these folks home to work, if they find themselves to be more profitable with people working at home, will they ultimately not want to use their offices anymore? And will there then be a crash in commercial real estate? I mean, there could be I hate to use the word ripple in this video for this particular explanation, but there could be a ripple effect on the commercial real estate market if so many companies start sending people home, because a lot of companies learn when they send employees home that not only do they save money, but they get better production out of their employees. If you have the right type of employees that have initiative and are self-motivated, you can get a lot out of people when they work at home. You really can, and I've seen it, and I know it really works. So just wanted to share that with you guys, and I thought that was interesting. Moving on, this was hilarious. I want you to see this. So don't believe everything you see on social media. Look at these pictures. It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. I think that's fantastic. And then the last thing was this came out from Fact on Twitter, and it said, don't be afraid to do something just because you're scared of what people are going to say about you. People will judge you no matter what. So whatever it is you're thinking about doing, guys, get out there and do it, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not. You should get out there and do new things. And just like when I started doing this YouTube channel, this is not my personality. Just so you know, it's just not my personality to do this. But I was convinced by the digital asset investor that I should try it, and that's how I got here. So I encourage everybody to get out there and do something that makes you uncomfortable, and you might be good at it. So I thank you for joining. Let's keep an eye on the markets. It's going to be I'm sure the stock market's going to really end up down, and we're going to have to see how far down it is. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a cruise ship captain, and I'm not a crypto expert. These are my opinions only. Don't make any financial decisions based on anything I say. This video is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please like and subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, and by the way, 44% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you're in that 44%, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. And hit the notifications button if you want to be notified. And also share my videos with anybody who you think might like them. And everybody have a fantastic day.